229,000. That is how many people fled California in a single year. And somehow it is not even the most disturbing migration story of 2026. You have been lied to. For decades, the news told you America was booming, and your zip code was just a number. They forgot to mention that 12 states are quietly hemorrhaging residents at a pace not seen since the Great Depression. What if the real answer is not where to invest your money, but where to flee with it before the bill arrives? Today we are talking about the state losing a football field of land every hour to the Gulf. The state where Wi-Fi is illegal across 13,000 square miles. And one twist nobody saw coming. The state Americans dreamed about retiring to is now sending them packing in U-Hauls. Subscribe right now, not because I am asking, but because by minute 15, you will want to forward this to someone about to make a six-figure mistake on a house. Let us break it down. Vermont is the only state capital in America without a McDonald's. Montpelier denied the Golden Arches a permit in 1995 and never looked back. It is also the smallest state capital by population, which is fitting because Vermont is the fastest shrinking state in the country. In 2024 to 2025, Vermont lost residents at a rate of 0.29%, the largest percentage population decline of any state, 2 years running per Census Bureau Vintage 2025. Vermont has now had more deaths than births every single year since 2016. In 2025, Vermont recorded the fewest births of any state in America. 23% of Vermonters are over 65. The state's median age is 43.5, third oldest in America. Combine that with a top income tax of 8.75%, an effective property tax rate of 1.83%, and catastrophic flooding that destroyed downtown Montpelier in both July 2023 and July 2024. Vermont is not shrinking. Vermont is eulogizing itself in slow motion. The maple trees will outlive the maple farmers. Picture this: October in the Northeast Kingdom. The hills are the kind of red and orange that ends up on a calendar your aunt buys at TJ Maxx. And in the driveway of a white farmhouse, two retirees are loading a U-Haul, double-checking the Tennessee Welcome Center coordinates one more time. Like this video, if you have ever driven through Vermont and thought you could live there forever. Because the next state actually invented the hamburger and still cannot keep its kids from leaving. Connecticut is officially recognized by the Library of Congress as the birthplace of the hamburger sandwich. Lewis's Lunch in New Haven invented it in 1900 and still cooks burgers in vertical cast iron broilers from 1898. They will eject you from the restaurant for asking for ketchup. That is the actual policy. Connecticut's bonded debt per capita is approximately $8,000 per person, 4 times the national average and the highest in the nation, per the Yankee Institute. The effective property tax rate is 1.79%, sixth highest in America. Top income tax bracket is 6.99%, and electricity costs are #1 highest in the United States. The state has somehow figured out how to combine New England weather with New York City taxes and Florida-level humidity in July, then charge you Bay Area electric bills for the privilege of enduring all three. Your house is appreciated, sure, but to sell it, you have to convince another sucker that paying $13,000 a year in tax to look at colonial stonework is a lifestyle choice. And the Interstate 95 corridor on a Friday afternoon turns into a slow-motion documentary about regret. You crawl from Greenwich to Hartford past 3 Tesla drivers, 2 passive-aggressive Subarus, and 1 guy in a Bentley somehow flipping you off. Civilized. Picture this: snow dusting the cobblestones of New Haven's Worcester Square. A moving truck double parked outside a $1.4 million Federalist row house. The owner, 62, loads a box labeled Charleston Kitchen. She does not look back. Quick comment question: would $8,000 a year in property tax alone be enough to make you call U-Haul? Drop your answer below. And speaking of taxes, the next state is literally nicknamed Taxachusetts. Massachusetts had a multi-year legislative debate over whether the Fluffernutter, peanut butter, and marshmallow fluff on white bread should be the official state sandwich. The debate took years. Boston cream pie is officially the state dessert, though it is technically a cake. A Suffolk University and Boston Globe poll released in December 2025 found that 1 in 3 Massachusetts voters has considered leaving the state over cost of living. Massachusetts ranks 46th out of 50 in per capita net domestic migration. The Internal Revenue Service reports a net loss of $3.9 billion in adjusted gross income in 2023, about $141,000 per departing person, the highest in America. Boston's cost of living is 53% higher than the national average. Massachusetts charges a flat 5% income tax, plus a 4% surcharge on income over $1 million, the so-called millionaire's tax. Electricity rates are 3rd highest in America, after California and Hawaii. You went to Harvard, you work at a biotech firm, you make $190,000 a year, and you still live with 3 roommates in a triple-decker in Somerville where the bathroom door physically cannot close because the radiator is in the way. Make it make sense. The state's response to all of this has been to debate whether marshmallow goo on bread deserves official recognition. Like this video, if you have ever moved away from a state purely because of taxes, because the next state has no income tax at all, and people are still leaving it in record numbers. In 1997, the residents of Talkeetna, Alaska were so unimpressed with their human mayoral candidates that they wrote in a kitten named Stubbs. Stubbs won. Stubbs then served as honorary mayor for 20 years until his death in 2017. Tourists made pilgrimages. He had office hours. Alaska is now in its 12th consecutive year of net outmigration, an unprecedented streak. The previous record was 4 years. In 2023 to 2024, more than 35,000 people moved out, and only 30,000 moved in. The state demographer now projects Alaska's population will fall to 722,000 by 2050, the first long-term decline forecast in state history. What is wild is that Alaska has no state income tax and no statewide sales tax. Residents get a permanent fund dividend check every year just for living there. On paper, Alaska is a libertarian paradise. In practice, it is a paradise where the cost of a gallon of milk in Nome is $14 and the dentist is a 90-minute flight away. Cost of living is 5th highest in the nation. Groceries cost 40% more. Heating oil costs whatever the heating oil guy decides it costs that week. The sun clocks in at 10 in the morning and clocks out at 3:30 in the afternoon. Romantic dinner in Anchorage? Sure. Drive 90 minutes through a snowstorm where one lane is closed because of a moose. Arrive at a restaurant where the special is halibut. It is always halibut. The waiter is also the chef. The chef is somehow also your dentist. Subscribe if you want the channel that breaks down the real numbers behind where Americans are moving. Because the next state is not expensive. It is just abandoned. West Virginia is home to the National Radio Quiet Zone, a 13,000 square mile area where Wi-Fi, cell phones, and even microwave ovens are restricted by federal law to protect the Green Bank telescope. Some residents have moved to this zone specifically because they claim electromagnetic sensitivity. So yes, there is an entire region of America where by federal regulation, you cannot scroll TikTok. And people in 2026 still move there on purpose. Here is the dark twist. West Virginia is the only state with fewer residents in 2024 than it had in 1950. The peak was just over 2 million in 1950. The 2024 estimate is approximately 1.77 million, a decline of more than 230,000 people over 75 years. In 2024, West Virginia recorded 7,844 more deaths than births in a single year. This is not an expensive state story. The cost of living is one of the lowest in America. Taxes are reasonable. By every retirement listicle metric, West Virginia should be booming. The problem is that the jobs left first, the young people followed, and the hollows have been quietly emptying ever since. The coal industry has shed 80% of its jobs since the 1980s. Healthcare access ranks 49th nationally. Rural broadband is, to use the technical term, atrocious. Try working remote from a holler in McDowell County and watch your Zoom call resolve at the speed of a dial-up modem. The Wi-Fi is so slow that emails arrive by horseback. By horseback, I mean the email genuinely shows up 3 hours later, after the horse has stopped to drink water and reconsider its life choices. Share this video with anyone who keeps saying they want to retire in West Virginia because real estate is cheap. Because the next state on our list is the opposite, a tropical paradise bleeding residents faster than anywhere else per capita. Hawaii is the only state where coffee is grown commercially, the only state composed entirely of islands, and the only state with 2 official languages, English and Hawaiian. It is also the only state whose flag features the Union Jack of the United Kingdom in the corner. Hawaii lost 2,132 residents overall in 2024 to 2025, one of only 5 states to actually shrink. On a per capita basis, Hawaii has the worst domestic outmigration in America at negative 0.69%. Honolulu's median single-family home hit $1,160,000 in March 2025. Hawaii has the highest cost of living index in America. The top income tax is 11%. Hawaii is, on paper, the dream. The sunsets are real. The ocean is bathwater warm. People genuinely cry when they leave. And they leave anyway, because at some point you do the math, spam costs double what it does on the mainland. A gallon of milk runs $9 to $11. Gas regularly cracks $5.50. Utilities are 71% above the national average. You pay $4,200 a month for a 1-bedroom in Kakako, and your neighbor, 83 years old, was born on the island. His grandfather fished these reefs, has 3 roommates because that is the only way to make rent. So where do they go? Las Vegas. They call it the 9th island now. Roughly 80,000 ex-Hawaiians live in Vegas. They left the ocean for the desert because at least the desert is honest about being expensive. Like the video if you have ever fantasized about retiring in Hawaii because the dream is real. But so is the math. And speaking of dreams that just broke, the next state is the plot twist of 2025. For decades, it was the destination. Now, it is bleeding residents. Florida is the only state where alligators and crocodiles coexist in the wild. The town of Casadaga, Florida, population about 100, bills itself as the psychic capital of the world and has hosted spiritualist mediums in the same community since 1894. None of them apparently predicted what is happening to Florida right now. For the first time in over a decade, Florida is classified as balanced on the 2025 United Van Lines study. Florida fell to 8th in net domestic migration in 2025, down from its perennial top 3 throne. The reason is insurance. Per the Insurify, Insuring the American Homeowner 2026 report, Florida's average annual home insurance hit $8,292 in 2025, number 1 in the nation, an 18% jump over the prior year alone. More than 30 insurance carriers have exited Florida since May 2024. Hurricane Ian caused $112 billion in damage. Helene caused $56 billion. Milton caused $38 billion. National Flood Insurance Program payouts in 2024 alone exceeded the previous 14 years combined. For 60 years, the Florida playbook was retire, buy a condo, live forever, golf until you die. Then the storms started lining up like planes at LaGuardia, and the insurance companies looked at the radar and said, "We are out." The people who own homes are now opening renewal letters that read like ransom demands. Your premium is up. Your deductible is up. Your insurance company is being absorbed by another insurance company that is also about to leave. And if you bought oceanfront in Naples thinking it was a legacy property, congratulations. It is now a legacy liability. Floridians have started getting non-renewal letters as Christmas cards. Your kids open the mail. "Look, Mom, Aunt Linda lost coverage again." It is basically a holiday tradition at this point, like fruitcake, but legally binding. Picture this, a Fort Myers Beach property, rebuilt on new pilings after Ian. The owner, 68, sits at her kitchen table with 3 insurance non-renewal letters in front of her. Her laptop is open to Zillow, Tennessee. The Gulf is 40 yards away, and right now it is the most expensive view in America. The U-Haul is reserved for the 15th. If you have been planning to retire to Florida, pause this video and drop the city you are considering in the comments. Because the next state we are heading to also has a coast, and it is being eaten by water too. But the story is so much darker. Louisiana is the only state in America without counties. It has 64 parishes instead, a holdover from French and Spanish Catholic colonial governance. Louisiana has its own native cuisine, its own legal system based on Napoleonic code, and arguably the most distinct cultural identity in America. It is also, slowly, geographically disappearing. Louisiana lost approximately 55,000 net residents from 2020 to 2025, the only southern state with negative net migration over that span. Louisiana ranked number 2 most expensive state for home insurance in the nation at $5,986 per year. Per Insurance.com's December 2025 ranking, coastal layered policies hit $14,000 per year. 12 insurers became insolvent after hurricanes Laura, Delta, Zeta, and Ida. New Orleans saw 18% of February 2025 home sale contracts cancel due to insurance unaffordability. And physically, literally, Louisiana is losing 25 square miles of land per decade to subsidence and sea level rise. Louisiana is one of the most culturally rich places in America, but culture does not pay your homeowner's insurance. The hurricanes keep coming. The sales tax in Louisiana is 9.55%, highest combined rate in the United States, and the humidity deserves its own felony charge. You step outside in August and the air does not just hug you, the air spoons you. The air buys you dinner first, sure, but only because it knows you are not going anywhere. Your glasses fog. Your shirt becomes part of your skin. You make it to your car, which is somehow hotter inside than outside, and a mosquito the size of a hummingbird lands on your forearm. You do not even swat it. You negotiate. Take what you need, friend. Just leave the elbow. Picture this. A flooded cul-de-sac in Lake Charles. 3 of the houses are abandoned. For sale signs leaning into standing water. A 56-year-old refinery worker loads the last of his wife's grandmother's china into a U-Haul. They have lost coverage with 4 different insurers in 3 years. His son lives in Mobile. That is where they are going. Subscribe because this channel is going to keep tracking the climate insurance collapse as it spreads inland. The next state's exit is not dramatic. The exit is constant. Illinois has Metropolis, the officially designated hometown of Superman, declared by state resolution in 1972. There is a 15-foot bronze Superman statue downtown, so yes, even Superman has a hometown in Illinois. He, however, does not pay property taxes there, because if he did, he would also leave. Illinois lost 40,017 residents to other states in 2024 to 2025 alone, per Census Bureau Vintage 2025. Cumulative net domestic outmigration since 2020 is 420,000, nearly 500,000 people, per the Illinois Policy Institute. Illinois ranks 48th in domestic migration nationally. The Internal Revenue Service reports a net adjusted gross income loss of $6 billion in 2023. Illinois has the #1 highest property taxes in America on a percentage basis, with an effective rate above 2%. Combined state and local sales tax in Chicago is 10.25%. And per the Illinois Policy Institute, 95% of those leaving Illinois fled to states with lower tax burdens. Illinois on paper is a great state. Chicago is one of the best food cities in America. Lake Michigan is beautiful for a Tuesday in July. The catch is that you pay for all of it, twice, with interest. Owning a $400,000 house in Naperville means writing a $9,000 property tax check every year. Watching your taxes go up while your kid's school district somehow has fewer teachers each fall. The state's pension debt sits north of $140 billion, and there is no plan. There is talk of a plan. There is commitment to develop a plan. Meanwhile, Caterpillar, Boeing, Citadel, and Tyson Foods have all relocated their headquarters out of Illinois since 2022. The corporations did the math. They left first. The people are following. Picture this: a graystone in Chicago's Lincoln Park, 3 stories. Bay window, original woodwork from 1908. The owner, 51, an architect, stands on the front stoop with a moving estimate in one hand and her property tax bill, $26,000, in the other. The house is paid off. The taxes are not. The realtor signs go up on Tuesday. Like this video if the property tax thing made your eye twitch. Because the next state has property taxes so high they make Illinois look reasonable. New Jersey is the only state where it is illegal to pump your own gas, statewide by law, since the Retail Gasoline Dispensing Safety Act of 1949. There is a real attendant who pumps your gas for you. New Jersey also has more diners, over 525 of them, than any other state or country on earth. The 2025 United Van Lines National Movers Study crowned New Jersey the #1 outbound state for the 8th consecutive year, at 62.3% outbound. That is not a streak, that is a dynasty. Per Representative Josh Gottheimer, New Jersey lost more than 312,000 residents in just the prior 2 years. 1/3 of New Jersey's publicly traded companies have left in the last decade. The average property tax bill hit $10,095 in 2024, a record high, and the highest in America. Bergen County's median property tax bill is $15,000 a year. The top state income tax is 10.75% on income over $1 million. New Jersey is, contrary to the Sopranos slander, a beautiful state. The Jersey Shore is the Jersey Shore. The pizza in Hoboken is criminal, but the math has stopped working. Your property tax in Montclair is now $14,000 a year. Your kid wants to go to Rutgers, fine, but you also need to pay $15,000 just to exist in your own house. You commute into Manhattan, pay New York taxes on the income, come home, fill up your gas tank. Someone else fills it up for you. That part you cannot change. And wonder why every Florida real estate listing now feels like a love letter. Your parents already moved. Your sister already moved. Your dentist already moved. The dentist replacement already moved. Your group chat has just saw a beachfront condo in St. Pete for $390 thoughts 3 times a week. And the Jersey Turnpike. Driving the Turnpike is a video game where every other driver is monetized to ram you. Turn signals are considered weakness. The left lane is a suggestion. The middle lane is where the BMW pulls in front of you, doing 87 in a 55 to express pure rage at the concept of merging. Picture this. A retiree in Cherry Hill, 67, opens her mailbox on a Tuesday in May. Inside is a property tax bill, $13,400, and a flyer from a realtor in Sarasota. The flyer is on top of the bill. She walks back inside. She places the flyer on the kitchen counter. She places the bill in the recycling bin. The decision was already made. Subscribe. And I mean it this time, because the next 2 states make Jersey look like a rounding error. In October 1992, an 8-pound meteorite slammed through the trunk of a parked Chevrolet Malibu in Peekskill, New York. The car, destroyed, then toured the world as an art installation alongside the meteorite. Also, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York vault, 80 feet below Manhattan bedrock, holds more gold than any other place on Earth, over $200 billion worth. But the state, New York, lost 137,586 residents to net domestic outmigration in 2024 to 2025, per the Census Bureau Vintage 2025. The 5-year cumulative net domestic loss now exceeds 1 million people. New York's total population is down 201,000 from the 2020 census, the biggest absolute decline of any state. The combined state and city top income tax rate in New York City is approximately 14.77%. Median rent for a 1-bedroom in Manhattan is approximately $4,500. New York remains one of the greatest cities humans have ever built. The energy, the food, the accidental celebrity sightings at random delis, but the calculus has broken. The dirty secret nobody puts in a tourism ad is that the city extracts an ambition tax. You came here to make it, to prove something. 10 years in, you do the math. You make $190,000. Your rent is $4,800. You have $11,000 in student loans still. You have not taken a real vacation in 3 years. And your apartment is a junior one-bedroom, which is the New York real estate term for a closet with delusions. You walk to the train in 11-degree wind that physically insults you. The subway smells like a science experiment. A guy at the turnstile plays the saxophone next to another guy screaming at a pigeon. On a good day, you kinda love it. On a bad day, you U-Haul. And the bad days are winning. Meanwhile, upstate, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany is hemorrhaging people for entirely different reasons. No jobs, no growth, no future. The state is losing residents from both ends. Manhattan cannot afford to keep people. Upstate cannot afford to attract them. Picture this. A Brooklyn brownstone walk-up, 6th-floor unit. The radiator is screaming. That high-pitched whine that means it will be 90 degrees inside in 20 minutes. A guy in his late 30s tapes up the last box. He moved here in 2011 for his career. He stays for 7 more days. The U-Haul is reserved for Tampa. If you have left New York or are thinking about it, drop your zip code below. I want to see the map of who is leaving where. Because number 1 on our list is the state nobody wants to admit is in trouble. In Felicity, California, population approximately 2, there is a granite pyramid officially recognized by the California State Legislature as the official center of the world. A man named Jacques-André Estelle built it. He also wrote a children's book declaring his town's centrality. The legislature went along with it. So yes, the dead center of the universe, as far as California law is concerned, is in a town of 2 people in the Sonoran Desert. And right now, even the center of the world is losing residents. California lost 229,077 residents to net domestic outmigration in 2024 to 2025, per the Census Bureau Vintage 2025 estimates released January 27, 2026. The cumulative 5-year net domestic outmigration is approximately 1.46 million people. U-Haul has ranked California dead last, 50th out of 50, for 6 consecutive years in its annual growth index. The Internal Revenue Service adjusted gross income lost in net domestic outmigration was $11.9 billion in 2023. California has the highest top state income tax in America at 13.3%. Median home price statewide is approximately $786,000. Los Angeles County median home, $985,000. San Francisco, $1.36 million. And in January 2025, the Eaton and Palisades fires destroyed 11,160 housing units in a single month. California is the dream factory, the literal dream factory. The weather is the best in the country. The food is the best in the country. The beaches, the mountains, best in the country. Joan Didion built a career on how perfect California is, and they are still leaving. In numbers not seen in modern American history, the reason is not one thing, it is everything at the same time. A $786,000 median home, gas at $5.50 a gallon, a 13.3% income tax on top of federal, rolling blackouts in summer to prevent fires that happen anyway. January, wildfires. January, the month that used to be the calm one. The Palisades, the Eaton, State Farm walking out of the state and Allstate following. The insurer of last resort, the FAIR plan, maxed out. Homelessness, 187,000 unhoused Californians in 2024, 28% of the entire national homeless population in a single state. Paying $4,200 a month for a studio in Santa Monica, where the bathroom door hits the fridge. And the people who can finally get a remote job, they leave. Boise, Reno, Austin, Nashville, Phoenix, Charlotte. They send their parents photos of the houses they bought for half the price of their old California rental. The parents call the realtor. The dominoes keep falling. Picture this. Dawn breaks over Pacific Coast Highway, that perfect golden California light slanting across the ocean, where a stretch of Malibu mansions used to stand. There are just gates, ornate metal gates leading to driveways that end at ash. The Palisades fire burned everything 4 months ago. A man, 57, stands at one of those gates with a coffee cup. The house he raised his kids in is gone. The lot is worth $5 million. The insurance check covered $900,000 of the $4 million it would cost to rebuild. He sips the coffee. He gets back in the car. The car is already loaded with boxes. He is not staying for the rebuild. He is going to Idaho. That is number 1. That is California in 2026. The original Exodus, 6 years running. The American dream is not dying. It is just relocating, from the coast to the middle, from the high-tax giants to the low-tax newcomers. The map of America in 2026 is not the map you grew up with. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to show this to the next person about to make a 6-figure mistake on a house in one of these states. Subscribe so you do not miss next week's follow-up where we break down the 12 states people are flooding into. and share this video with that one family member who keeps insisting California will turn around any day now. They need to see Felicity. Stay sharp, stay informed. And whatever you do, do not sign that lease until you watch the next video.